Well, after the last episode where we completed a fantastic turnaround of this Lons team and have secured Champions League football for next season, we now have our first summer where we can hopefully make a massive rebuild of a large chunk of this squad. Let's see who we can go and get in, but more importantly, let's see who we can shift out as well. Hello and welcome back to Unemployed to Legend, episode 6, Club 3 with RC Lons. My name is Craig and come up on today's episode, transfers. That's the name of the game for this episode, summer transfers, as we try and rebuild a large chunk of this squad. And by rebuild, I mean try and get a lot of younger players in to try and replace a lot of the older, more experienced heads that this squad's that we've inherited over the last 6 months. Now, of course, the end of the last episode, just a quick reminder, we did secure Champions League football for next season with that 1-0 victory against Marseille. We overthrew Troyes going into 4th spot. That's despite the fact Troyes actually beat us 2-0 in the second to last game, which was also in the last episode. Hey, I'll take it. At the end of the day, Champions League football will hopefully mean a lot more money coming into this club. In fact, I will show you the finances while I think of it. We currently have only 300,000 in the overall balance. The finances are secure. We do have just under £4.5 million to spend. We had the budgets in the last episode as well, and 832,000 for the wage budget. So a little bit of wiggle room for wages, but not by much, which means we are going to need to sell in order to bring players in. Now, there are some players who are already coming in on a free. I will show them as they come in. I'm not going to show them just yet, but we are going to hopefully go through what I was hoping would be the season review, but it hasn't actually come up yet, even though I've gone forward like a couple of days or something. So first up, we've got the supporter profile. We've lost hardcore and core supporters, but we've got a few more fair weather supporters, so those who are impatient for success. So they've just seen us go from 17th up to 4th. These are the fans that are sort of hitching to the bandwagon a little bit. That is absolutely fine. It's just about seeing if they're going to stick around. The club vision, of course, they want us to sign players under the age of 23. That's fine. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to go more the youth routes, which proved to be a fair success so far from our January transfers. The likes of Archetta, Dennis Simon, and Rene Lopez, of course. Massive success so far. They want us to play attacking football, possession football, entertaining football, and high tempo pressing football. I mean, we've been doing that. That's absolutely fine. 1-year contracts for players over the age of 33. Yeah, I kind of want rid of a lot of those players. Next season, they want us to reach the Champions League proper. Now, we have finished 4th and we are in the 3rd qualifying round for the Champions League. So I need to get into the actual Champions League phase itself to meet that. I hope we have more of a chance to do that with Lons compared to Dundee United, but we shall see. And qualify for the Europa League. So I think that means top 6. They're basically looking for top 6 through the league next season. I think that's fine. I think that's realistic. We've actually managed to get there about a year ahead of schedule. For me, anyway. The board were like, yeah, do it in 2 or 3 years. But I'm wanting to do it a little bit quicker. And then just try and continue working towards the Champions League and challenge for the French Cup over the next 5 years. I think that's a acceptable club vision, and that's something I want to do. I want to aim for trophies as well. The French Cup would be fantastic. Right, we're going to discuss the plans with the squads. Thank you very much. Oh, this first one right here is so adorable. We're going to challenge for the title. No, we're not. PSG are way too strong. It's going to take a few seasons at least before we get anywhere near them. I think we can qualify for the Europa League next season. Yep, that's absolutely fine. We're trying to reach the Champions League proper. Yes, that's fine. Jolson Fernandez is happy. Excellent stuff. What I wanted to hear. We can discuss promises next season. Cool. Go and have a break. See you for pre-season. Everybody is happy. Lovely stuff. Let's just see if we do get the season review. If not, we're just going to come back when the first signings are actually made. Oh, the training facilities are no longer that high. Where's facilities? Let's have a look. Training facilities, great training facilities. If we get more money, if we get some money in from transfers, then I'll try and improve those. But at the moment, 300,000. I don't really want to bankrupt this club. We haven't got the European money just yet. That's what we're waiting for, and that's why we want to get into the Champions League, of course, proper next season. Now, as far as transfers go, I've said we are going to go for a lot of younger players. I've got quite a few of those on my shortlist, so I'm going to be going through those. Of course, waiting for the 1st of July to see what players will be released from clubs, and I'm looking at the likes of the top clubs such as a PSG, La Liga teams, Serie A, Bundesliga, and of course the vast majority of Premier League teams, because their players are just going to be so much better than a lot of ours. Right, the season review is actually not coming up. I don't know if I've actually gone past it, and you know what, it's not that important, I guess. So what we're going to do, we're going to come back in June when hopefully I've made a few moves in getting players out, but also I know there is 1 or 2 players who'll be coming in, so I shall see you then. So we've come back a little bit later than I had actually anticipated, and it has actually been a few days since I last recorded. That's how long a transfer window can actually take. But business has been conducted. Players are in, players are out. We're not quite done yet, but we're not too far off. So the first player that we had actually bought in, you might recognise this guy from Dundee United. Christopher Wu has reunited with me. He has also returned to Lens. He's actually played here before. We bought him in on a free, which means I've actually bought in Christopher Wu twice to my teams and spent a combined £130,000 on him. I call that a good deal if ever I've seen one. He's 2.5-star current ability. He's not got any extra potential, or actually 3-star potential, but he's in as a squad player. He gives us a bit more depth at centre back, and also I know how he plays. He's very good from corners, physically very, very well rounded. He can do the job at League On level. Europe remains to be seen, but he's got that European experience, of course, from the Europa League with Dundee United. So welcome in and welcome back, Christopher Wu. There have also been a few more signings since the season has ticked over. Don't let the fact that we've only spent £3.8 million misguide you, because it has been very, very busy trying to get some of these players in. First up is a young goalkeeper, Marko Markovic, 18-year-old Serbian under-21 international. He's going to be our 3rd goalkeeper. There's a reason we have 3 goalkeepers this season. He is 2-star current ability, but with that 5-star potential, which is what I want from a young goalkeeper. Yes, he may have a few problems with injuries, but he's not too bad actually for an 18-year-old. Technically, mentally decent. Obviously, there's a lot of room for improvement. That's fine. He will improve. We bought him in for £2.1 million from Crvena Zvezda, if that's how you actually pronounce them. Basically, FK Beograd. That's how I remember the old name. I don't know if they've changed it in recent years. But we bought him in for £2.1 million. Look how much he's worth already. But as a breakthrough prospect, he's a player to watch over the coming seasons, and hopefully we'll see him get a few cup games this season. So be on the lookout for him. If we do make it a long way in the cup, we'll be seeing Markovic hopefully a little bit more often. Also, we have been raiding PSG for a loan or two as well. El Shadel Bishabu, 23-year-old French centre-back / defensive midfielder who can play half-back. Half-backs are a bit of a premium with defensive midfielders. But he is a 3-star current ability player, 4-star potential, good League On player. And this is the calibre of player that PSG are allowing to go out on loan, which kind of says how disgusting their squad must be. I haven't even looked at what transfers they're making this summer. I can only dread what they're doing. But he has played for PSG. He played regularly last season, actually. About half the league games. He's also played in Belgium. He's basically just been across France, which means he is trained in homegrown in nation, with France. So that's a good thing for us in terms of European registration. We will come to that in just a moment. The next 3 players we bought in actually kind of hinder us a little bit for Champions League registration. Samuel Vinato, 24-year-old Italian attacker. He's going to be a deep line forward. If I just show, he's more than capable of playing that position as backup to Miguel Rodriguez. 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential, League On quality player. He comes in, like I said, as the backup for Ligue 1 games. He spent his entire career in Italy. Bit of a problem for eligibility. Obviously, he can't become eligible for homegrown in France because obviously he's too old. The same for Wilot Svedberg, 24-year-old Swedish midfielder slash winger slash attacking midfielder. He's our utility player basically in Ligue 1. 3-star current ability. He's a Swedish international with 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. Again, you can see we're getting in the Ligue 1 caliber players. We're just trying to solidify ourselves in going for European positions in Ligue 1. He's actually coming from Leicester City on a free. So if he's played in the Premier League, he basically can play anywhere else. But the problem with Svedberg and Vignato, they're two transfers I arranged months ago, like back in January. And the problem is, I brought them in thinking we weren't going to be in Europe this season. That kind of changed, didn't it? So it's going to be a bit of a tough ask trying to squeeze these guys into the Champions League squad. Svedberg, by the way, his best position is left wing, which is good because we need cover for Jolson Fernandez, who may yet still leave because Manchester City, of all teams, are chasing him. If there is any movement on that, I will let you know. Hopefully we can keep hold of him. Otherwise, we're cashing in big. And the last player we've brought in so far, Iker Arrizabalaga, a left back, a backup left back to Vegas. He is a 2.5-star. He's a 17-year-old. I've completely forgot he's 17 years old. 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential. He is Ligue 2 as a quality player. But with that 5-star potential, we hope to see a lot of improvement from him. We brought him in from Athletic Bilbao, which is a bit awkward because he is French. He's from the Basque region as well. He was born, I think, Baracaldo. Is that in the Basque region? If so, he was born in the north of Spain. And he is trained in France. Well, the problem is I've already looked at the Champions League registration screen. If I just go to it quickly, actually. Ligue 1 is easy to register for. But Iker Arrizabalaga, you see him here. He's not included in the squad. And when I do, we can't actually register him in, even though he's homegrown in nation. Now, I don't know if that's only because he is French or if it just comes down to the fact he has to be based and playing in France for at least 3 years. If so, that's a bit of a problem. But I'm hoping that we'll be able to shift 1 or 2 players out. Markovic can't be in the squad either. Hopefully we'll be able to shift a couple of players out and try and get a few more players in. Especially Rene Lopez. He can't actually be in. He is, of course, Honduran. In fact, how long has he now been in France? He's only been here. He's got 726 days. So what's that? 2 years. He's got like 2 years left until he's homegrown at nation and club trained. So once he hits that stage, he'll be absolutely fine. But until then, I'm going to have to try and find a way to actually squeeze him into the squad. Players who have also left: Ganu. Pierre Ishmaelo Ganu has gone to Valenciennes for £600,000. If I just click on him because he was right behind my head. 23-year-old French left back. Yeah, okay. I may have made a mistake. Actually, no, I didn't really. He didn't want to stay. He didn't play as much as he wanted to last season. He didn't want to stay. There was no point keeping him around a very unhappy player. It's just hurts. Oh. We probably should have kept him for this season, but he didn't want to stay, so out he goes. Alberto Soto, he has gone to... Actually, no, he's gone on loan to Sochaux, who have just been promoted to Ligue 1. Spanish 26-year-old, he didn't play for me, barely played for me at all last season. So, yeah, he's on loan with a optional fee, I believe? Yeah, optional fee of £1 million, and he came in for 2.1, so... We'll make a loss on him, but he wasn't my signing in the first place. Mladen Devetak, he's gone on a free to Toulouse. He was on loan last season, and that was already arranged before I even arrived at the club, which is a shame, because he would have been a good left back. Was he homegrown at club? No, he wasn't. It wouldn't have actually made a difference, so fair enough. Sacha Bowie has gone to Sochaux as well on a free, the end of his contract. Goodbye, you barely played for me. Yannick Pandor was our backup goalkeeper. Offered him out, just see who was biting. And Vigo just went to pay £1.5 million. Bye bye. It's not like you played very often for me. You didn't even play that often for Lons. Oh, don't tell me he was another one. Oh my god. Why did I not check? Why did I not check? Oh, that hurts. Okay, that's 2 players we could have solved a problem with for registration in Europe. Nemanja Radonjic has also gone. 32 years old, he's basically another old man out of the club. He's gone to Dinamo for 2.6 million. We actually made a profit on him. He arrived for free. I'm very, very happy with that. He was not trained at club or nation. No, he was not. So Pandor and Ganu we should have kept hold of. I'm going to scream Sacha Boey was French. He was trained in nation. That's 3 players I let go of. Why did I not check these things? Like, honestly, why did I not check these things? On the positive side, though, we've managed to really raise the level of our club finances. 12.9 million in the bank, 11.4 million in the transfer budget. We started with about 4.5 million as well, so not bad. We've got almost 50k on the wage budget still to use. Any current transfers who are coming in? No, they're all... who are they? Staff, that's what they're called. There are a couple of players we are looking to get rid of. Ismail Benhamu, he is another player who is homegrown at club. He's not a club trained though, so he's just homegrown at club. So we're looking to bring in French players if we're going to be doing any more transfer business this summer. But this is a guy who doesn't play for me. Also, he's the guy, Benhamu is the man who is on £73,000 a week. £73,000 a week, and to just sit on the bench. No thank you. We want that freed up. So £3.2 million he has been offered to us by Celta Vigo. Have Vigo been taken over or something? Can I just have a look at this? Have they actually been taken over? They had a failed takeover bid last summer. Other than that, no. It looks like they're just splashing a little bit of cash. They are a La Liga side who look like they're a bit established, so they want 2 of our players. That's absolutely fine. Benhamu will hopefully go, and that'll be £73,000 into the kitty. I also just want to draw our attention as well to the development centre. Dennis Miyachi, who came in January, the only reason he's down here in the second team is because Champions League registration. He's not going to get into the squad, so it's a bit of a problem. Who wants him on loan? Portugal, no. We want him, if he's going to go on loan, we want him to go on loan to a French club, because we want him to get that homegrown at nation and homegrown at club. Again, thinking long term, Rene Lopez, Miyachi, we want them ready for Champions League or Europa League registration, preferably Champions League obviously, in future seasons. So that's the only reason he's down here. He wouldn't be in the main squad, so just let him develop. He's 18 years old, he'll be absolutely fine. There is one player, however, who is a hot prospect for us. He came in on a youth intake just last season gone. Junior Ovono, 15-year-old French centre-back / defensive midfielder. Could be a potential half-back in the future, we shall see. Hang on, he's wanted already. He's 15 years old, he's wanted. By PSG! Why are you coming for a 15-year-old? Oh my god. I mean, look at the to be fair, look at the value of him. He must be very, very good. He is 5-star potential. Ligue 2 standard already. I think we'll probably be seeing this guy a lot more often sooner rather than later. He's literally just arrived in, like I said, in the youth intake. Just gone. He's already a consistent performer. Really good in the air. That's because he's how tall is that? 6'3", 6'4", something like that. He is going to be an absolute physical beast when he is a lot older. I say that, he needs to do some serious improving. His jumping reach is already very good, so not too bad. So overall, the squad is starting to take shape. If we are going to bring in any more players though, I mean, it will have to be just purely homegrown at nation French players. That's how it's going to have to be. So 29 players, actually 28, because we've got one player on trial, and it happens to be Neymar. It's unlikely we're going to sign him. Although saying that, he's not actually eligible. He wouldn't even get into... Well, he would get into the Champions League squad, but at the expense of someone else. He is French second nationality, though, which is kind of interesting. I never knew that actually was the case. It's right behind my head. I know you can't see it. He has a tendency to prioritise Continental Cups over League. And he prefers to sit back and protect a lead. I don't think this guy is actually going to be someone that we want in this team. But we will be back when there is movement in the main transfers, and more movement in the squad. Other than that, we will be back before the start of the new league season. We're almost there. We might just need 1 or 2 more players at most. And so we find ourselves at the beginning of the new season. It's the beginning of August now, and I don't think anything else significant has actually happened in terms of transfers. I mean, we did make one signing. In fact, actually, he's just on this screen, isn't he? Adolfo Cotrupi. He will be joining us in January from Central Ballesta in Argentina. He's a 17-year-old Argentinian winger. He's going to finish out the season with his original club. He'll join us, and then if he goes out on loan, it will be to a French club. I think that's what we're going to be doing with any young player anyway, who's going to go on loan. It will be to clubs only in France, because we want them to get that trained-in nation eligibility, which will allow them to play in Europe going forward. So Kotrupi's, he's 2-star current ability, 5-star potential allegedly. So if he turns out good, fantastic. If he doesn't, then we'll just move him on for a bit of a profit, because he's coming in for £23,000. Yeah, he's a director of football signing, up to 68,000, still cheap. Well, we had success with that before with Rene Lopez, from what I remember. But that is significant. That's the only real significant transfer we've done since the last time I was with you. And forgot about Ben Hamu, has also left. £3.2 million to Celta Vigo in Spain. Yes, he's another player who would have been useful for our European squad, but quite frankly, that's the only use he would have had. He would have just sat on my bench getting £73,000 a week. He even took a pay cut just to leave to go to Spain. So that was 73,000 that we have saved, and our finances are looking very, very good. A 17.5 or 17.6 million in the bank, and just under 100,000 in the wage budget spare, with just under 15 million transfer budget that we can still use. If not on deadline day coming up, then in January, depending what's out there. Preferably it would be French based players, because again, European competition. But when I'm going to be coming back with you is not for these next 2 games, the first 2 games of the season. It is going to be for the Champions League League Path 3rd qualifying round 2nd leg. What a mouthful. And then that's against Fenerbahce, who we drew in this round, and then PSG away in our 2nd league game of the season. So we'll be hopefully securing a Champions League playoff tie, which is going to be against either Zurich or Benfica, assuming we get through Fenerbahce. And then we'll see how we match up against the champions, and also the European champions of PSG, because they have won the Champions League last season. They're a very dominant force, aren't they? We'll see how we match up against them in the next episodes. Fun to be had, and hopefully maybe still some transfers still to be done as well. If you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit the like button down below and smash the big red subscribe button so you don't miss the upcoming European adventure and the start to Season 7 with Lons. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for your support on the series so far, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode.